Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Thoughts to Think About. I'm Efrain.
I'm Liz.
And I'm Jonathan.
And we are coming to you live. Not live, but we are we're here in Reid's office because Reid isn't in his office.
No.
Reid is currently flying over South America.
That's right. Reid is Reid's
Just
on his way back, and so we've got Jonathan back.
Back from the dead.
Back from the dead already.
Already, it's already his return. I've got this angled a little bit this way. I'm going to turn it a little more. But yeah, Jonathan's back, and we're excited to have him back in the third chair. This time I get to hang out with you, so I'm kind of excited.
This is fun. This is
about
a little different.
That. Yeah. So yeah. How's it been without Reid? In our daily lives, we just miss Reid so much.
It's kind of funny because he'll get random Wi-Fi bursts when he's down south.
Right, yeah.
And so he's out doing, the Lord's work.
Yeah.
And
he's in Argentina on a mission trip, right?
Yeah.
So he's with a team in Argentina. They're talking to churches and doing some cool stuff. So that's exactly what we're talking about. So that's where he is. Yeah.
But he'll get random Wi-Fi capabilities or random just burst of time where he can message things back, and so in several group chats it'll just go without him forever, and then just automatically be ha 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 thumbs up, hey, I got a Wi-Fi for 30 minutes, blah 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 blah, hey, I'm out, bye.
That's so funny.
Just sudden responses at
Exactly.
3 a.m. of whatever. Or I guess what's the time difference? He's only 2 hours ahead of us.
Usually it hits right at night, kind of before bedtime is
Okay.
when he kind of hits it.
Okay.
And so 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you'll just get random reads, ha-has.
And I think it's
Reid's ha-has for the day.
because I'm pretty sure that's it's 2 hours ahead of us.
sounds right.
I think because it's further than the East Coast,
Yeah.
longitudinally.
I'm going to go ahead and just take your word for it.
I think
I
he
think
said
so.
He had to leave at 3 a.m., which was 5 a.m. Texas time. So that makes
Well, then
sense.
there you go.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Brutal.
Have you guys ever been on a super long flight before?
I feel like the longest flight I was on was 4 hours, which is still a very long time.
That's a long time.
To be just kind of scrunched in. I will say the girl next to me was going through it. Homie was hung over and she got up so many times. I was like, hey, do you want to switch? And she's like, no, I need the window to keep me up. And I was like, all right, you just do your thing.
Girl.
I was really trying.
Dang.
It was rough.
Hi, girl. Jonathan, what's the longest flight
I
you've
have
been on?
never flown out of the country. It's
Okay.
on my to-do list. So all my flights have been for baseball trips or the LA trip or
Right.
whatnot. So I don't know, I guess 3.5, 4 hours or so.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
Coastal trip from Texas.
Texas
So
to Gulf Coast to
right. Third coast
third coast
Third coast
to West Coast.
third coast to West Coast. Third coast to East Coast.
The eye contact is intense. Oh, man.
It's been a long. I just come off spring break, and so today was first day back at school.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's true.
And I was in the medical situation, and then I was on spring break, and then today kicked my butt, and
Yeah.
so
I'd
I'm
imagine.
still I could go to sleep right now.
Yeah. Well, go try to at least make it through the episode.
Oh,
at
that's
the
the
very
plan.
least. If not, we'll keep going without you. We'll power through.
All right, girl, just go ahead.
He's like, I need the window to
Yeah.
keep me up. Oh, dude.
Oh.
Yeah, the longest flight I've been on, just to wrap up this little thing, was 11 hours. So I flew to I'm pretty sure it was 11 hours. So I had 2 real long flights, technically 3, but I went to England twice, and then one time I went to Nepal.
This boy likes to weave in, going to Nepal
That's right.
as much as he can.
I've mentioned it a couple times on the podcast, just saying. But so that first flight to Qatar was extra long flight, and then
Aye.
the next flight, it was a shorter flight to Nepal from there. But I'm pretty sure it was 11 hours, and I feel like 4 is within the
Yeah.
state's kind of reasonable range of flight time.
Agreed.
But pretty much after that is
Get me out.
It's just brutal. But the good news is that pretty much after that point, it's all the same kind of, so it's it sucks, but it's sucked for a long time already.
Yeah.
So you're kind of
And it's whatever.
Were
Yeah,
you
anyway.
economy plus, business?
Oh no, I had a whole bed in. No, I'm just kidding. No, we were straight up. Yeah. I think it was because we did Qatar Airways to cut her, and then like British Air or something, and so
I was just gonna say joke. I'm not gonna say it.
don't do it. This isn't a comedy podcast, Liz. We're trying to tell jokes.
That is the category that we are.
This is our category.
in.
Anyway, yeah. So it was just generic.
Where's
I'm chilling
your-
with the people?
Where's
I'm a man of
your
the people.
flight like bucket list? Like where's your like your dream flight destination? Real quick, rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
Shoot.
Say
New
it.
Zealand, I think.
Dang. Italy.
Japan.
Japan. Ah, good.
Yeah.
Yes, very good. Those are good. Those are good ones. Everybody.
Those are all
Yeah.
three
all
goods.
around. Yeah, very good.
I would love to go to England, but the top one is Italy. So I was going back and forth which one I was going to say.
My sister just did a cruise in the Caribbean. You
Yeah,
know? And so like Caribbean? No, Mediterranean is what I meant.
Oh.
That's not the same place.
No, they flew to.
It's not- Italy. Oh, Italy. Yeah, they
still-
went to the Caribbean.
There's still water. It's
yeah, exactly. It's
different
all water. It's all
Islands,
You know, it connects. It rains eventually. Mediterranean cruise, and they
Yeah.
did. Yeah, they were in Italy
Yeah.
and stuff. Paris is like on fire right now. I don't know if y'all have heard about that. Y'all haven't heard about
Is that also a song? I'm sorry.
It does sound like a
think
song.
I'm so sorry. I
Put
didn't
that on
mean
the
to
like-
track list for your next set.
Yeah, hello. No, they. I'm pretty sure they voted to, or there's some voting going on, or they're introducing a bill to increase the retirement age, and so people are like, I don't want to retire that late. I'm trying to retire right now.
Wow.
And so they lit the whole thing on fire. This is not a news podcast, so those are like the most bare bone details.
Welcome to our new political
Yeah,
segment.
yeah,
where
exactly. No. That's not what I'm doing. But my siblings, my sister and her new husband, congrats to the happy couple. Congratulations, salutations. And they were not around for that, so thankfully that was good. But anyway, Paris is cool. they did a FaceTime.
Oh no. Paris is cool.
Paris is cool. They FaceTimed at different points,
They're
on
going
their
through it
trip,
right
and
now.
so girl going through it. She needs the window.
She needs to lean against the window.
Oh my gosh. So
Not to
anyway.
make it a news podcast. Isn't Africa split into two now?
Yeah, I did hear about that. Have you heard about this?
no, I
Go
don't
ahead,
pay
Liz.
attention to the
Go ahead,
news.
Liz.
I've researched.
Like the continent is split into.
I've researched SpongeBob for this. Not Africa.
Spoiler
I don't
alert,
think
this
a
is going to turn really hard into a SpongeBob episode.
How does the continent?
So basically, as far as I know, again, this is not a news podcast, but there is a like a fault line at like the eastern edge of Africa, I think like by the Horn,
Okay.
where essentially it's like shifting in this really dramatic way. And so there's like literally a gap, a crevice opening up in the earth.
Across
the continent.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in different places. And so what geologists, I believe, are saying is that it's going to turn into a new sea
yeah,
in
a new-
that kind of region.
Everyone's saying like an
Wow.
ocean. Like no, a new sea. Because in that
Something
doesn't
like that.
it? Yeah,
In
yeah.
relation to the Sahara, like how's that gonna?
It's not that far over. So
Okay.
it like I guess like if you could think of like the third side
The third side
of Africa, like on kind of that edge. Like I said,
the
really near the
Madagascar
Horn.
side of.
So more at the top.
More at
so
the
the
top.
northern
Yeah, yeah.
region by
But,
the
like,
Horn,
that side
but
of
that
this.
side, right? Yeah, exactly. I
Interesting.
think, right? Again, not a
So like the oldest part of the
news
world,
podcast. Yeah, one of the oldest parts of the world is shifting
Like,
and changing. Of
the
course,
bread
yeah.
basket of humanity.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Is shifting.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
it's super wild. So I mean, right now it's just a crack. I think So it's like when
It's a
you're
pretty deep crack, but in
Oh, is it?
in relation to
Like
it's like several
an ocean?
feet deep. Yeah,
That was my
Is
nickname
it
in high school.
really?
I,
Several
believe,
feet?
I think so.
That's wild. Next episode, we got to do a deeper dive on that because that
Please
sounds
do not
super
use us
interesting.
as a
Don't tune out, okay? Because
trustworthy, reliable
this
source.
episode will also be interesting.
Science podcast.
Science
number one.
podcast now. Welcome to Science to Think About. That's so stupid.
You should apologize for that.
I won't. I refuse. Okay, well let's go ahead and dive into our the alert. Yeah,
Those are not
what
jazz
do we
hands.
got?
These are jazz
Formulating
hands.
thoughts. Formula science.
Oh, okay.
Don't give
And-
that to him.
And you could be
Okay.
like a
No,
chemist.
I'll give it to him.
Chemistry and formulation and
See,
physics.
we're gonna.
Formulating thoughts.
Don't you want to hear about
The
science,
science
from us?
segment.
don't you want to hear science
The
from
monthly science segment. I
you
love
know?
it.
This is what Jonathan brings to the table. I like it.
New
Okay.
ideas, just out of left field.
Exactly. Just out of left field.
And now we should go to the jellyfish fields.
This guy with the transitions.
Whoa!
We'll talk about, what this episode was intended to be about, which is SpongeBob.
SpongeBob.
You know by the
SquarePants.
title, at least, that...
I don't even know what we should title this.
yeah, I don't know, but it'll have SpongeBob in there, I promise.
Yeah.
It'll work itself out.
It's for the SEO.
Yeah, exactly.
Just search
Exactly.
SpongeBob.
It's all about SEO.
Goodness.
Getting that money.
So if you've
There's no money in
we've made $0.
Maybe one day.
Please.
HelloFresh.
Please give us some money. HelloFresh, please.
like and subscribe.
NordVPN.
I'm whispering again. I need to stop.
I hate whispering. If you've listened to the podcast at all since last season, any of this season, we make consistent SpongeBob references. And so it's just been a matter of time until we dive deep into the ocean of Bikini Bottom. But also Reid's not here. And so this was kind of like the troll. So we're in his office,
That's
which
what he
is
gets.
very brown, and there is nothing on the walls.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no
He's very
wall
bland.
art. It's just basically books, which I guess fits, Reid as a person.
There's a bottle of water.
I'm
up
pretty sure
there.
that's from the Dead Sea, the water
Oh,
bottle.
okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that's kind of neat, this is just a world podcast today, there's books, there's water from the Dead Sea, you're talking about
A
Africa.
thesaurus.
A thesaurus, there's chess. This is just good. We're
Tim
just
Tebow's book.
we're elevating the podcast, guys.
Okay.
So let's talk about SpongeBob.
There it is. But Reid also loves SpongeBob, so that's the troll. We're gonna jump into SpongeBob. Before you were tasked with a list of SpongeBob episodes, what was your initial feelings, Jonathan, on SpongeBob?
Okay, so SpongeBob for me was a show that I enjoyed as a child,
I don't like
Who-
the tone in that
who
word.
that I quickly did not like as I grew older. So the first several seasons, that first movie that came out when I was a young lad, I think the show first aired in 1999, right?
I think so. Yeah.
You're
and
correct.
so, that put me at a ripe 6 years old, perfect for SpongeBob. And so for the remaining parts of my childhood, I really enjoyed it. And then as I became more of a teenager / adult and whatnot, I quickly grew to not enjoy it.
Oh,
And so I fell out of love with it, while many of
Oh.
my friends continued to stay in love with
This is
it.
very deep.
And so, the first several seasons hold a special place. I went back and watched several of them, and I was like, oh, I remember way too much of this. What the heck?
Yeah.
And then there's a point that I don't know anything
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah.
And so that's my initial SpongeBob thoughts.
Efrain, what is SpongeBob to you? I liked how he phrased that. What's SpongeBob,
SpongeBob to
you?
me
Yeah.
is just a really important moment. I imagine the lights get dramatic at
Yeah.
different angles suddenly,
Yeah. Yeah.
SpongeBob's really important to my life personally. I grew up watching SpongeBob. So 99, right? I was 4 in
Yeah.
99. So I was probably too young, but I also was a TV kid. So you know how there's iPad kids? Back in the 80s and
TV
90s, there were
kid.
TV kids, And I was a strong TV kid.
Sure.
I have a pillow that some family member got me. I don't know where it is, but it had King of the Remote on it or something like that, because apparently I was obsessed with the TV and wanted the remote at
That's
all times
amazing.
years ago, right? So this was years and years ago. I don't remember who even gave me the pillow, you know what I mean? So SpongeBob watched all the time. I guess I was 4, but well into elementary school. So for the next,
Several years.
10 or not 10 years, but 8 years or however old, elementary school kids are.
Sure.
I watched SpongeBob pretty faithfully. Buddy of mine, we were always joking about SpongeBob. My parents were like, "Oh my God, all this SpongeBob, this is too much. It's so annoying." There's all the laughter, right? SpongeBob is annoying. And so that was we loved SpongeBob in elementary school. And so, but kind of going back, if I think about it, I had the first couple seasons on DVD or whatever, maybe tape, I don't know. But they were really good kind of at the beginning. And then pretty much after that first movie, I don't remember watching anything like after that, if that makes sense. Like
Sure.
like after that first movie, I guess I went to middle school, just stopped watching, SpongeBob. I wasn't watching Nickelodeon, I guess, or my siblings would have been. I don't know. It wasn't SpongeBob anymore, right? And so so a lot of that, there's a fall off for me, but not necessarily because I didn't want to watch it, I guess, or maybe it was, but I just don't remember. You know what I mean? So it still is like has a special place in my heart. But it's really those first few seasons anyway. So so yeah.
Yeah. SpongeBob for me, I still remember the day it premiered.
Oh. Wow.
So
wow, you're old. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Wow.
In 1999, I was 9.
What? Again, just really double down.
Showing our ages here.
I was 9, and my best friend Rachel, shout out to you.
Rachel.
I haven't talked to you in 2 decades.
Hey, girl.
Good. Hope you're leaning against the window.
Oh my god.
She had come over, and my dad, his thing when we were young was made like homemade pizza.
Oh, nice.
And we
That's
sat
awesome.
in front of the TV and we watched the first one, and it like that was it. And I was like, I remember sitting there watching it with her, thinking like, this is dumb, but I love it. And I think it was like a back-to-back premiere, so it was, I think, like a whole hour of SpongeBob.
Oh wow.
So it's
And
like
so-
6 episodes of SpongeBob,
I'm
really.
gonna say SpongeBob typically comes in like 2 episode pairs.
Right.
So yeah, that's a lot of SpongeBob.
It was a lot of SpongeBob.
Yeah.
But it was great. It was glorious. It was wonderful.
A glorious moment.
So were you freaking out when the anchovies were trying to eat Squidward?
The little
and-
meeps, yeah. I mean, it's not nice. It's not nice. But like sometimes I'll just refer to people as like meeps.
As a meep.
Yeah, because they're kind of meepish.
That's what they remind you of.
You know? Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I've got some interesting history of SpongeBob.
What inspired you to go on this deep dive to learn about SpongeBob?
TikTok.
Okay.
There were several
You're
that
welcome.
like. Well, also I love my parents, but in their grandparenting era, they are also forming TV children.
Ah,
So my babysitter was a TV, 100%.
right.
And then my nieces and nephews, when they go to Nana and Papa's house, they go straight to the like den, and then they turn on SpongeBob, which is wild to me because there's so many other kid shows out there, so many,
That they're choosing SpongeBob
They're-
today.
but only at my parents' house.
Interesting.
They don't
Okay.
really watch it at their houses.
This is I'm ignorant of and want to learn.
Okay.
Is there a 2022/2023 season of SpongeBob? Like, are they still producing new content in season forms?
I'm pretty sure there was a final season recently.
In
Is that-
21.
In
2021.
2021.
Wait,
Yeah. Okay, so-
they've done, so as of February of 22, 4 additional films were planned.
Wow.
And then there's a bunch of like spin-off series that have been, signed on for Paramount Plus. There is a new theatrical SpongeBob film in the works. But it looks like their last season was 21.
Their last
Which is
TV
still-
season is 21.
So
That's
it's
still really
15
recent.
seasons. It's a very I
that's
think
a
it's
long
one
time.
of Nickelodeon's. It's the 5th longest running American animated series, and I think it's one of Nickelodeon's longest.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Good
nuts.
for them. Great job.
I know.
You did it. 5th longest.
No one asked you to do it, but you
Nobody
still
asked you,
did.
but you did it.
I
You
need to
did
hear that
this.
laugh for 20 years, but
You
here we
go,
are.
Glenn
Yep.
Coco. So Steven Hillenburg was the creator, and he was a marine biologist. So he originally created, what is it? He created this character for like his students, to like
Oh, interesting.
yeah. Before SpongeBob, there was Bob the Sponge. He created this book, Intertidal Zone, just like facts, and he created little characters out of these creatures to like teach it to his students. And then
As like a college professor or
I think so.
dang, that's cool.
Got to get them to class somehow.
I mean, honestly,
'Cause sometimes we all need those windows on college days.
And marine biology is like
Listen, I'm kind of into
That's
marine
a-
biology, though.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
kind of
But some people,
You're
you
a
know,
water.
that's a
You're a water guy.
That's a sleep class.
I like that kind of stuff. I don't know that I'm a water guy, but I like
Mm-hmm.
biology.
Okay.
So like,
See,
I also
formulating
enjoy marine biology.
Formulating
Just
water
formulating
thoughts.
Just formulating water
Water
thoughts.
thoughts.
No.
Like sharks, awesome.
Sharks are really
Whales.
cool. Shark Week.
Shark
I was
Week,
gonna ask, are you a
awesome.
big Shark
Dope.
Week guy?
I don't like sit down and watch Shark Week because I've like since I was a kid, I haven't had like television. Like, this is the first time I'm like paying for TV in my adult life. So like maybe I'll watch Shark Week finally this year, but like I'll like YouTube Megalodon and like
Right,
go
right.
go down the rabbit hole
Oh,
of that
sweet.
or something like that.
We'll have a
So-
Megalodon episode. Don't worry.
Oh, perfect. Like
So
Oh, don't worry.
wait, back up. So you really didn't watch TV much as a kid?
I watched TV as a kid, and then when I went to college at 16, like I stopped watching television.
All together.
You went to college at
16.
16.
Yeah,
Why did he just say that like that was a normal thing?
I mean,
I thought you
Did-
knew that.
No. Did you start school young?
Nope.
You skipped a grade?
I skipped my junior and senior year and went to Lamar University for my junior and senior year of high school while doing my freshman and sophomore year of college. I graduated with my high school diploma and 61 hours of college credit.
formulating degrees, baby.
I'm a science
Shut
nerd.
I did not know that. So when did you graduate college?
When I was 20.
Dang.
Dang.
Dang, dude.
So I got my master's. I took 2.5 years to do my master's. And so I got my master's when I was 22, almost 23.
This guy.
I had no idea.
He's a smart guy.
Wow.
So let's go back to
The
SpongeBob.
youngest Division
So
One
the fact that he
football
doesn't watch
operations.
SpongeBob.
Yeah, so he
It's
gave up on
connected.
SpongeBob. Yeah, it's making up. It's
smart,
making sense.
Smart choice. Yeah, so SpongeBob premiered May 1st, 1999. And it aired right after the 1999 Kids' Choice Awards, which was very smart on there.
interesting.
And then it officially premiered in July with like, I think it was just like a little taste of here's what it is, and then
We got to
Right.
do the
Boom.
pilot.
Right.
right. It's got 3 movies, 2 spin-off series, and then several, like we said earlier, in the works.
Several video games.
Yeah.
Def-
Yeah, that's
yeah.
very true.
There's a new game that's like just about to come
Like a
out
new
or
one
just
about to come
released.
out?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because I know they like remastered Battle of Bikini Bottom.
Right. And then they basically made a spiritual successor to that game
Okay.
just recently. So yeah.
I know a few people that will probably be buying that.
Yeah, it might be me. So
Also, Reid. What
Yeah,
are the?
also-
What is the game? Is it a computer game? Is it?
it's like a console game, you know.
Okay.
Just, yeah.
Probably get on anything.
I don't game.
Not a
So
gamer.
I'm not a gamer
We'll
girl.
we'll do the gaming podcast later.
Yeah.
Gaming thoughts.
Y'all can do that when I am out. That's totally fine.
Okay. All right.
Sick. Put that on the calendar.
Jonathan's
Write it
like,
down.
I will be
Mark
there.
it down. I'll be there.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna jump to like the weird part of SpongeBob.
Let's do it.
Ooh.
'Cause I think it's just so like these are all fan theories. These are all like people's own twists.
Okay.
But there's a lot. You can see it. Like
Okay. Okay.
so SpongeBob used to be Sponge Boy. That's originally what
Okay.
it was gonna be called.
change.
And then the like the tag was Sponge Boy Ahoy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Right. And so the producers really, or like, sorry, Nickelodeon really wanted it to be like a kid in school.
Right.
And the creator, Steven, was like, no, he needs to be an adult. Like the innocence of him being an adult and acting the way he acts. But they really wanted him to be in school. So that's why he was in boating school.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Poor
So
Mrs. Puff.
Right.
Yep.
So it's just such a strange, like, why did you want him to be an adult so bad?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So one fan theory is that the main characters all represent the 7 deadly sins.
Oh, I think I've heard this one before.
Elaborate.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you guess who. So there's greed, envy, sloth, pride, wrath, gluttony, and lust.
So you definitely got greed with Mr. Krabs.
That's a
and
layup.
Probably gluttony with Patrick Star, or maybe
3
sloth.
a.m. Yeah,
Yes,
3
yes,
a.m.
yes.
Oh, he's gluttony.
Yeah, Patrick
Oh,
is
he
gluttony.
eats a lot. Yeah,
3
that's fair.
a.m. Krabby Patty.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that
exactly.
makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You ate my only food. This is just only SpongeBob quotes. Yeah. Let's see.
You know,
Who else?
SpongeBob's butt is property of Sandy Cheeks.
So
that
Sandy
episode.
Cheeks.
So is that
lust?
mean- is that
Maybe.
is that lust?
Is that
Sandy
lust?
is not lust.
Oh,
Ooh.
maybe.
Maybe SpongeBob's lust.
Oh, hello. Square pants.
Yeah, SpongeBob is lust.
What?
Yeah.
I was about to make an inappropriate joke, and then I looked over at Liz.
Don't do it.
We don't want to put the little E next to the.
Explicit podcast. Then who else? Okay, so who would be Sloth? Gary the snail?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gary.
Oh,
Yeah, that
okay.
makes sense.
Wrath is probably Squidward.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Plankton is envy.
Ah,
Okay.
You got it.
good. Where are we at?
Okay,
What are we
you're
missing?
Sandy. You need to label Sandy.
So we got one more then.
Yeah, but I don't want to say what it is. It's a dead giveaway. I'm giving you the answer. Greed, crabs, envy, plankton, sloth, Gary, wrath, Squidward, gluttony, Patrick, lust, SpongeBob.
What's the other?
I can't. It's like escaped my brain.
Pride.
Oh, duh, pride.
Yeah.
Yes.
Texas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
yeah,
Texas. That's exactly right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
Exactly right.
That's pretty good. Okay, so that's just like a
It
fan
fits.
theory, or like
Right. That's a fan theory.
It works.
A lot of people.
Probably more happy accident,
You're right.
coincidence, but it fits.
Yeah. There's a lot of like environmentalists, right? That are like Bikini Bottom. Bikini Bottom was created due to nuclear testing.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah,
so then
I've
like
heard that one. I think
there's 23 nuclear tests during the Cold War, making SpongeBob and his aquatic friends subject of nuclear radiation exposure. Right,
Maybe
like
rock
Goo
bottom.
Lagoon.
Oh,
oh.
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they're just weird fish.
Or they're just really weird fish.
There's some weird fish out there.
The deeper
man.
you go in the ocean, the weirder the fish
Those
get.
fish
I promise.
weird, dude. They're weird looking.
This one that is kind of like, it's a stretch, but it's just funny to think about. That the show is a metaphor for World War II in Germany.
Why is that funny, Liz?
How?
Stop.
How dare
Stop. Do not shame me. Not joke shame me.
How dare you? How does that even track?
I know, because it's a stretch. So it represents a pre-World War II Germany, with Squidward being a failed artist and an all-out jerk as Adolf Hitler. Hitler wanted to
Squidward's Hitler.
Yeah.
Okay.
He wanted to get rid of his neighbors. Patrick represents the innocents caught up in a catastrophe. Sandy, with her Texas heritage and admirable tenacity, represents the United States.
Okay.
Yeehaw.
All right. Interesting. So
Yeah.
eventually Squidward's gonna. Oh, yikes. Yikes. Maybe that's why they cut the show. Cancel the show.
Big yikes.
They got the script for season 22, and they're like, "Hey,
No,
we can't do
we
this.
can't
Hey,
do
that's
this
in
is the whole point of the show. This is why we made the
This
show.
is the line.
This is the build."
No, listen. This is if we don't do this, it's not a complete story. No, it's okay. That's all right. Yeah, that's a stretch. I don't know about that one.
Right.
Pass.
Pass.
I didn't know what you just said. Every character has a mental illness. So sorry.
Honestly,
I feel like
though.
that's the
sorry
easiest
for
one to like.
laughing. Yeah.
I feel like that's the easiest one to throw on a kid show because I feel like people want to do that. You know, just like throw weird.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why I kind of stopped liking it. I think
Oh, interesting.
was I kind of felt that way, honestly.
Okay.
Like,
Go on.
I don't know. Like
Elaborate.
it felt like the show got. How do I say this politically correctly? The show kind of got like dumber in a way.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it became like pointing out the flaws of each character were turned up more and more as the seasons went on.
Yeah.
And so
Flanderization.
I would maybe like I don't know, that's not that far out of reach for me. Like it kind of fits.
Yeah, Flanderization is where they kind of take the. It's based on Ned Flanders from The Simpsons, where they take the like
That's what I was
base
gonna
kind
ask,
of
yeah.
ideas of the character, like their kind of nuances, and then just crank them up, and that's like their only character like trait at all, And so where SpongeBob is kind of a dumb guy, but he's just goofy and fun. It's like, oh, he's literally an idiot, can't do anything himself, but like he was a grown man with a house, like
And a job.
and a
Right.
job,
Right,
yeah,
right.
he's dumb, but
I feel like the Patrick is the one that falls onto the most.
Yeah.
Like he's the easiest one to point out and be like, okay, but now it feels like you're isolating this character flaw as the character trait.
Right.
And I don't want it
Ooh.
to sound like a flaw as like mental illness is a flaw, but like that's the trait of that character.
And it's like
cranked.
Yeah.
As the show goes more and more, which I get it that he also is like the comic relief in several times.
Right.
But there's also times where he's like is kind of a jerk in the show, and like he can't
Right.
understand why he's being a jerk in the show, and like there's
character development and there's growth, and it's not a lot, right? It's SpongeBob, but
Right,
it's like
SpongeBob.
there's still little growth and little like
there's nuances in the seasons, but I just feel like as the show goes on, some of those things get cranked up more, and that one's not. I wouldn't just like throw that one in the garbage.
yeah.
Me personally.
Yeah. That one feels like I could see it.
So it's interesting. Before we started recording, Jonathan, you had mentioned like the first 3 seasons are just the best. Like
They're
in
the ones I
comparison,
know,
yeah,
yeah.
the ones that you know, and then you were saying you remember why you stopped watching because after season 3, and then you mentioned season 3 too. So
It's around there, yeah.
the creator Steven Hillenburg actually was only there for the first 3 seasons.
Huh.
Dum bum bum, and so
They ran out of content.
So
and
he like it was saying that his like passion for marine biology and teaching that and was a huge influence, and he fought for a lot of different concepts and a lot of character development.
Interesting.
And so when he left, I think that's probably why everything went pretty downhill.
Yeah.
Do we still watch it? Yeah. But it is definitely like the things that I quote and the things that I remember are those first 3 seasons
Yeah.
for sure.
Definitely.
For sure.
So did you go back and watch those first 3 seasons as well? Or is that just you?
He watched
You
them.
definitely did.
I tried to look them up on YouTube, but they're not available.
It's on Paramount Plus.
Give me your
Paramount, give us a call.
Give me your login.
Give us a call, Paramount. Come on. Hook us
But I
up.
feel like every time I'm at my parents' house, it's on in the background. So like it's never
Okay, fair.
not with me. So
Do your nieces and nephews, do
Yeah.
they watch the old stuff or the new stuff?
they watch the old stuff.
They watch the old
Yeah,
stuff.
that's what's recorded. So that's-
Interesting.
I know.
Dang.
I make sure the kids get the quality.
Since 2001, we watched the old SpongeBob in this house.
It's been on TiVo since 2001.
Right. Okay, so the mental illness personified. Basically, the theory suggests that SpongeBob is addicted to codependency
Okay.
instead of a substance. Like that's where he gets his fix. Is just being codependent on people.
Okay.
Patrick has multiple personality disorder.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Which you kind of hinted at that.
I'm with that.
And then it says that explains his multiple side to show. And Mrs. Puff, it has post-traumatic stress disorder due to her consistent car crashes, which I would
Jeez.
say yes to.
Boat crashes.
I'm so sorry. Boat crashes. Jeez.
Get it right.
Yeah, I'd say those are the most like interesting, like theories. People also say like the secret recipe to the Krabby Patties
Is fish.
is crab. That's why
it's
there's no other crab.
Right. That's the theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So Mr. Krabs killed all the other crabs and is feeding them to all the fish around because there's no other crabs, and so that's the secret recipe.
Crab burgers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna have to
Krabby
go try
Patties.
that.
I mean,
Krabby
crab's good.
Patties.
I mean,
I like crab.
Crab is good.
It's probably good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And right, like if you, it's like mad cow disease because they, correct me if I'm wrong, they like ate beef or like chicken that eats chicken, like animals that eat their own meat. It makes them go nuts and crazy.
I don't know. I
remember.
I have nothing to add to that.
I remember Mad Cow being a thing, but I
Yeah.
was just young enough
Yeah.
that I don't know. Like
I mean,
I never
same.
learned the science behind it.
Mad
Check back
cow.
next week when we go into formulating thoughts. on
Formulating
Cat
thoughts,
Magazine.
yeah.
I think that's
exactly.
where we're headed. Yeah. I just remember being old enough for mad cow disease to make the jokes,
Right.
but like
Yeah.
I didn't understand it all.
It was funny
Yeah.
on the schoolyards of elementary school and like in the parking lots of Dairy Queen, but like it didn't like actually matter.
That was so specific.
Yeah.
Well, in Trinity, that's all we had. So.
I mean, I get you.
Swine flu. You know, remember
Yeah.
swine flu, but
Yeah.
I don't remember mad cow. Like that.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So.
But yeah,
So sorry.
That's what I got for you. SpongeBob is just it's such an interesting like. Like this one says each character is addicted to a drug. Like these fan theories just go like a little too hard.
They go crazy,
Sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah,
They go crazy.
There's definitely some fan theories that on every show that I would go like, no,
Yeah, I don't know about that.
side eye it and go like, you're talking just
Well,
crazy.
like the classic one that Caillou is like a kid
With,
who
like,
either
leukemia?
is dead or who has leukemia or something like
yeah, I
that.
remember
That's
that.
that's a classic one. Yeah, there's all kind of weird theories with these kid shows, but something that I always think is interesting about SpongeBob is I've heard from several like adults who, are adults in my life, like my parents or, other, in-laws, that kind of thing, who talked about like seeing SpongeBob becoming a thing and being like, they saw the, previews or trailers for it or whatever. And they were like, yeah, that's never gonna catch. That looks so stupid. That's the dumbest thing in the world. And then it like became one of the biggest, properties in, modern, kids culture. It's kind of crazy.
Oh yeah, I forgot to add. As of 2019, their merch, like all SpongeBob related like merchandise, in 2019 generating over 13 billion in revenue.
Sheesh.
That's like
Nuts.
Pokemon levels.
Half of that is me, so my house is just decked out in SpongeBob merch.
Reid's office at his
SpongeBob.
house is
At his house, yeah.
not. See, this office
not
is
this
very
boring.
bland
Right,
and brown.
exactly.
His office at his house is like yellow polka dots for
Exactly.
SpongeBob.
Those little
Exactly.
flowers, the
Yeah,
pink
100%.
little flowers. Yeah.
Jellyfish paint
Oh
on the
yeah, it
walls.
looks like the sky. Yeah,
Yeah.
like this guy.
Yeah.
So like SpongeBob pop culture stuff. What's your favorite crossover event or like crossover reference in SpongeBob? You think?
Crossover
dang.
event.
While you think, I'll give you mine.
Okay.
Because like I'm a horror fan. Like I love scary movies and like that kind of stuff and whatnot. Shout out to when y'all are doing your lists of horror movies back in Halloween.
What a fan.
Was very much enjoying that. So the Nosferatu crossover, like the little plug-in on the Hashling Slasher episode, Graveyard Shift. I love that. So Nosferatu popping up, doing his little wink was funny for me. Even as an adult, I still kind of laugh at that one. I've got that little clip saved in my photos just in case I ever want to pull it out. And then I still enjoyed the. It's not really a crossover, but my favorite string of episodes are usually the ones with the Dutchman, and so like that just kind of fits in. But like my favorite crossover little pop up is the Nosferatu one.
Yeah,
so.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's good. I can't think of any like specific thoughts right now. I'm blanking on like real specific cultural references. But one of my favorite episodes is the one where there's a time machine in the Krusty Krab, or like,
Yes,
or
yeah.
not, it's not. Is it a time machine or like something
He gets
weird
frozen
like that? He gets frozen, but
in
then
the
he goes
freezer,
back,
and he
and then
goes
it
back
like
in
turns
time.
into a
Yeah.
time machine,
There's
basically.
like the cannon shredder room and like
Yeah.
yeah.
But so the thing I always think about is where it gets like really existential, and then Squidward's in like literal limbo, and there's like nothingness, and so he's just like surrounded by his nothingness. I just remember that episode very vividly of like, holy crap, like what a weird thought. That terrified me as a kid, but like I love it as an adult.
Those are the episodes
like,
that drew me in as a kid.
yeah, like well, like I was terrified, but I loved it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It was like, oh, just what a disturbing thought, but I need more of this, So, I just had the thought. Sorry, do you have a reference point?
The only thing that like has marked my brain is where the jellyfish come and like dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun, like they keep coming.
They have
to
their party.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like
Great
Gary's
one.
little eyes are like. That scene is just so daggum funny. Like
That's where like he goes and captures a jellyfish and he like brings it home as a pet, right? And then like he goes to sleep and then he invites his jellyfish friends in for a rave.
And they throw a party,
Yeah.
at the pineapple.
What is the little,
That's a great one.
where he has the giant pencil and he draws
Oh, Doodle Bob?
Doodle Bob. That one also,
Doodle Bob.
like, I enjoyed it, but that, like, it kind of freaked me out. Like, Doodle Bob himself, I
Me
didn't.
hoy, me noy.
There's the Memorial Hermann Hospital next to Memorial City Mall. The, like, part of it, the IAL, like, it flashes. And there is, my friends still have it. There's a Snapchat, like, video of me going, me hoy, because the end of it is out. And that's from like
That's so
2012, dude. I'll just randomly get it sent to me,
Oh
and
my
like I have it in my
gosh.
phone now. So good.
That's awesome.
What were you gonna say?
Well, I was just gonna say I wanted to know. So, like, what are y'all's current thoughts on SpongeBob? So you referenced you didn't like it anymore. So is that still the case at this point?
So like the episodes that I remember or that I have like a nostalgic like feeling for, like I can go back and watch, or like I'll see like a clip of and be like, oh hey, I remember that, and like that's fun.
Yeah.
But like, if you put it on for me, I'm probably gonna sit there and be like,
All right,
this isn't.
I'm gonna go do something
I'm
else.
good.
So
Like,
watching through it didn't
change
your life again.
Painful.
the laughter of like the SpongeBob laugh, like it's cringe to me now. Some of the Patrick just like jokes of him, like the elephant balloon.
Yeah,
That he's like,
It's a giraffe. Yeah.
Like I'm just like when I was 8, that was really funny. That was so funny.
It's not a giraffe though.
And I'm
That's
just sitting
so
there
funny.
oh, gosh, this is dumb. or like when they're the things that are funny to me are like when they're doing they've got like their kiosk and Squidward's mad at them and they like hide and put the closed like sign out for Squidward, like we're closed, like we're not here, like that kind of joke still
subtle
resonate
humor,
with me.
right?
That stuff still like hits, but some of the cringe like stupidity humor, I just outgrew it and I struggle with it.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I mean, that's real. That's like the reality of like watching a kid's show and like, the kid stuff isn't funny, but it's usually, I mean, same thing with like a Pixar movie or any other Disney movie.
Good little
There's always good, good subtle humor for the adults,
Yeah. I would say it is very much like Napoleon Dynamite for me. Like I know Napoleon Dynamite, if I fresh watched it now, I would not like it, but it's the nostalgia that's connected to that movie. And I think it's the nostalgia that's connected to SpongeBob that I'm just like, I can watch it every day and it still makes me die laughing. Like the scene early, I think it's probably season 1, where they're like leaf blowing or like shell blowing from like 1 yard to the next. And they're both like losing their mind. Like, I think that's just so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I still think it's hilarious. But again, I still haven't seen past really like that 3rd season.
Yeah.
I'll see it like kind of pop up. And it just doesn't look that funny to me. But again, that might just be I've outgrown it. And so what I like still is stuff that I'm, have nostalgia for, but then I also think is funny, Right. I think there is probably, maybe not, I don't know how to, this is still culture, right? Like a opinion kind of based thing, but there seems to be like an objective drop off in certain, qualities of the show after that 3rd season. But I'm sure there's at least some merit to it, But I'm not the target audience anymore. So
I make the joke about like Game of Thrones losing their context after like a certain season, right? And so like maybe I need to change it and say, hey, you got Game of Thrones, you got SpongeBob. Like after the creator left, you ran out of like original content and you went studio on us. You kind of fell off a little
that's
bit.
kind of a good point. It's not like it's like jumping the shark, but it's like. Yeah. Like 3rd season, and then you jumped the shark, and then kept going forever, for 20 years. That's crazy. That's a crazy thought. Yeah, that's a good point. Man. They still went for it.
Yeah, they sure did.
After the 3rd season, you said he left.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, to end on a good note, what causes mad cow disease?
Oh, did you just look it up?
I did. Eating. So the cow it's another disease called BSE, bovine spongiform. I know. We're connected.
No way.
Encephalopathy. That's that.
Okay.
They eat feed contaminated with parts that came from another cow that was sick with that one. So they are eating meat of their own kind.
Okay. With a sickness.
Right. So then it gets them sick, and then we eat that meat, and then we get sick. And it can like lead to like early onset dementia and like brain disease. Jeez. So like be careful out there, everybody.
Yeah, watch out with what kind of beef you're eating.
But mad cow disease is very rare, so
yeah, well, just be careful. Make sure to cook it real good, and cook your beef. It's good.
Cook the processed beef really well.
Exactly.
If it's processed beef, you want to make sure you cook it correctly.
Exactly.
Your whole meat products, you can kind of get away with a little bit here and there, but
and if you get a little bit of mad cow, nothing ever hurt nobody,
What does
nothing ever hurt nobody.
Goodness.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.